It's already Wednesday. I'm just making a habit. Maybe that's like my thing. Oh, I'm late again. Definitely taking advantage of the sun whilst it's out. The weather has been up the left. Jumping up to the top of the mat was definitely one of the first dynamic things I got into in yoga, just because it was so common within like the OG sun salutations.
It's a little bit effective way, I think, to
prepare for handstands in your practice. And it's also quite fun. It's an easy way to go in increments towards a place that can be kind of scary, like stacking your hips or jumping into the unknown. So very conveniently, I've got my urban yoga mat. I'm just going to set up in a down dog position to start practicing the jump. The main thing to consider is what you want from your down dog length and position. If I'm going to be moving somewhere, which is quite often, then generally I'll go for a shorter stance. But it takes a little bit of figuring out, so feel free to lengthen and shorten and see what all the spaces in between feel like. For the first jump, we call them pike jumps. I'm going to push the hands down into the floor, long arms, think about jumping the hips right up, but the important thing is my gaze. I'm looking at the feet the whole time and not really intending to travel anywhere. Pike jump. Pike jump. For me, flexing the feet feels like it makes your legs a little bit more active. And when I think about it, as I'm starting to travel forwards, that brings the feet in and it's a little easier to land at the fold the closer and closer you get to your hands. Second time then, now I'm going to look down at the middle of the mat, pushing the hands in, long arms, thinking about the exact same jump and flex or active feet. And now I can land closer to the middle. At the same time, I don't know if it comes across, but I'm really pushing in to the hands and the arms and trying to create a stable base, because that's what I'm essentially moving around, or that's what's supporting me as I travel up to the top. Now I can play with increments, so tiny movements from the space that I was watching. So instead of the middle, I'm going to look a little further forward, and I also think about folding those active legs coming up towards the chest. And then maybe we'll look up in between the thumbs and see how we can land in that fold. I also think it's really worth noting just how much experience or ability you might have in a shape or a posture before you actually try it. Sometimes it's hard to conceptualize, but the active feeling in the legs, it's the same thing that I think about in an L-sit. Maybe when I'm training in the gym, it's the same feeling as a toes to bar. In a yoga class or practice, even when I'm just stretching, it's the same feeling as pulling myself down into a forward fold. It's just that it's in a different orientation and gravity is acting in a different way. As for things that might be helpful, I think that some hamstring range is useful. Elements of compression strength in L-sit, hanging on the bar, or actively moving into forward fold. And generally starting to combine those things. Shoulder strength as well. So if you have a handstand practice, it might be easier, even if you don't traditionally go for the jump or the float up towards the top of the mat. And wrist warm up. Definitely warm up the wrists and shoulders beforehand. Those are all topics for another day, but the next one on my list is the L-sit prep. So watch out for that one, and please let me know if there's anything else that you want me to chat about. Catch you soon.